Hello, I'm John, I'm a psychotherapist. We asked the internet to ask us some questions, anything about mental or emotional health, and they have. And today's question is, simply this: what do dreams really mean? Let me try and explain that one, if you've got a couple of hours. No, I promise, I won't need a couple of hours. We will make it succinct, I promise. Dreams, fascinating things. Every time somebody says to me, I had a weird dream last night, that all dreams are weird. It's useful to examine what the purpose of dreams is. Every human being gets emotionally aroused for very good reason, usually. Sometimes, perhaps not. And we need to get de-aroused. If we don't, we'll be running around leading our life in a very, we'll be very edgy and we'll be hypervigilant and anxious. So we need to de-arouse ourselves. And sometimes you can do that in the moment. Somebody has a go at you about something and you have a go back. That told them. Now, I promise you, you don't need to dream about that tonight. But what you do need to do is dream about it to get rid of it when you can't do anything at the time. So my mum taught me that lovely phrase, you need to learn to bite your tongue. And when you bite your tongue, what's happening is you've got some emotional arousal that you didn't discharge. Somebody has a go at you, but you just bite your tongue and you don't have a go back. Some might think of that as being tactful or diplomatic, and so it is, and that's a good thing. We all have a part of us that just holds back, and we hold on to that emotional arousal, and it gradually fills up and fills up as the day goes on. Sometimes we fill up our reservoir, our container of emotional arousal when all we are doing is worrying. We are getting ourselves emotionally aroused, highly emotionally aroused, by worrying, because the bit of our brain that regulates this whole thing doesn't understand the difference between real things going wrong and imaginary things going wrong, real disasters and imaginary disasters. So what happens is you sit in a very safe chair in a safe, warm, comfortable room with enough to eat and drink, and you worry yourself into a highly aroused state. Either way, you need to dream about it so that you can wake up the next morning de-aroused. So that's the purpose of dreaming. Now that's called the expectation fulfillment theory of dreaming, and it's generally accepted as the greater understanding that we have of the purpose of dreams. Now, interestingly, our dreams are metaphors. So if we imagined punching our boss on the nose because they were just really unpleasant to us, and then what we did was we actually dreamt in the middle of the night that we'd punched our boss on the nose, that wouldn't be a good thing, because what it's doing is actually embedding that behaviour. There's all sorts of complex reasons why dreams need to be metaphors, but metaphors they are. And here's the issue, and it's the reason I think I may have mentioned this in one of my earlier videos. There is what would be a metaphor to me will mean a different thing to you. So if somebody says throwing the baby out with the bathwater, I promise you, ask people what that means, and they will all have slightly different explanations as to what it means. So when you get those old sayings like that, they mean different things to different people. Let me give you a slightly more blunt example. To some people, if you say the word Christmas, it conjures fantastic emotions, because childhood memories of great Christmases and presents and gathered around the tree and that whole thing. Some people, you say the word Christmas and it conjures up terrible fear, when it was just full of family conflict and an awful time. You did it out of a sense of duty, but you just wanted to get away. There are some people who, when they smell lavender, it might remind them of their sweet little old grandmother that used to line her chest of drawers with with the smell of lavender, and all her clothes smelled of it, and she was a sweet granny that really looked after us. Other people might have had a terrible grandmother who was a harridan and smelt unpleasant. Lots of different little things, but your brain is a pattern matching organ. And what happens in the most primitive way is that those ideas that are put into your head, and that might be through a sense of smell, a sense of recognizing something, a word, a color, anything like that, put different ideas, and they feed different emotions into each of us. And it's exactly the same with metaphors. So when you go off to sleep, your brain goes searching around for patterns inside your own head, out of your own memory banks, your own filing cabinet of experiences. And that might be something that happened to you earlier in the day, coupled with something that happened 10, 20 years ago, married up with something in a TV program you watched a couple of days ago, all of which had significant emotional ties to them, emotional tags. And what it does is it goes around looking for those things, and it conjures together the most extraordinary, weird, wonderful, odd, sometimes scary scenes called dreams. And in those dreams you experience emotions which de-arouse you. So you can wake up the next morning feeling good. So what do dreams really mean, I think, was your original question. And the trouble is that they mean something very different to you than they would to me. If you and I had exactly the same dream, it would mean something very different to you than it would to me. I hope that's helpful. If it is, hit the like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already, hit the bell and we'll let you know when there's another video coming up. And please take excellent care of each other and take good care of yourself, and sweet dreams.